I'm extremely proud of my son, Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know. And I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Second one, will the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
Okay. Hey, let me go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
We now turn to a Fox News alert. President Biden is expected to issue a pardon for his son, Hunter.
Shocking.
Yes, Biden said on multiple occasions that he would not pardon his son, or he whispered it, or commute his sentence. The pardon comes ahead of Hunter's December 12th sentencing for his conviction on federal gun charges. Hunter is also set to be sentenced on tax evasion charges December 16th. None of that's going to happen.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about what was supposed to be the most transparent administration in American history, but it turned out not to be. It turned out actually to be the exact opposite. It is the least transparent administration we've ever seen. And the last 4 years can be accurately characterized as nothing but lies and gaslighting from the Biden administration. Okay, whatever they say, best believe it's the exact opposite, right? In terms of what they actually want to do or what is actually happening. And we have another example of that as Biden is about to leave office in disgrace, okay, as he has decided to pardon his son, Hunter, okay? Now, this comes as Biden and Krenz Jean-Pierre basically lied to the media, lied to the public, saying that Biden would not issue his son a pardon under any circumstances. However, after the election, Biden has changed his mind. Hunter could possibly be facing some jail time because he was convicted on gun charges, and he also pled guilty to tax evasion charges. And again, this is something that is not really a surprise, but then again, it's kind of a weird situation for the left because, again, Biden promised not to do this, but he did it anyways. Take a look.
CNN has learned President Biden will pardon his son, Hunter Biden. CNN Chief National Affairs Correspondent Jeff Zeleny, I believe, is with us. Jeff, can you hear me?
And Jessica, yes.
Okay. What are you learning?
Look, we are just getting a statement from President Joe Biden. He's saying that today he signed a pardon for my son, Hunter, and he goes through the reasoning why. Of course, Hunter is facing a sentencing later this month, but this is really a monumental moment for President Biden. He said several months ago in June, when he was still seeking a re-election, that he would not pardon Hunter Biden, but now we are learning he is. And let's just read through this statement quickly together. He said, "Today I signed a pardon for my son Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision-making, and I kept my word, even as I watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted." So this is a fairly long statement, about 4 or 5 paragraphs from President Biden, but really going through why he is making this decision. He also goes on to say this. He said, "No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out because he is my son, and that is wrong." He goes on to say there's been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. So, of course, Jessica, let's take a step back. You obviously covered the Biden campaign along with me, and this is something that Hunter Biden has been dealing with. This was a tax case, a gun case. He went through his trial in Delaware. There was another case in Los Angeles. But this is really the culmination of President Biden really making the decision tonight to sign a pardon for his son Hunter, not just a commutation of a possible sentence, but a pardon, which certainly will be part of President Biden's legacy going forward.
Yeah. So again, Joe Biden broke his promise. He lied to the American people. Clearly, he always had the intention of trying to get his son out of trouble. Okay. It appeared as if, oh, well, the DOJ, they're not biased. They're not partisan. Look, they're going after Hunter. But see, again, this is the same DOJ that tried to get Hunter off with a sweetheart plea deal that a conservative judge exposed and had to stop. That is the only reason he's in this situation, because they tried to get him off before. But despite these facts and what's clearly going on here, MSDNC tries to spin this and make excuses for why Joe Biden broke his promise to the American people. And of course, they couldn't talk about this without bringing up Trump and what this possibly could mean for those that are facing charges or that have been tried and sentenced when it comes to January 6th. Take a look.
I just heard it. I have to process it. I don't have a take. I'm sorry.
Anyone, Michelle, Miriam, presidential power in action on President Biden pardoning his son.
I mean, look, I don't think that Democrats can uphold all of these norms single-handedly. Hunter Biden was prosecuted for a crime that kind of a normal person who had committed the same crime would almost certainly not be prosecuted for. And Joe Biden bent over backwards not to intervene in order to show, sort of how much of a respecter of norms he was, unlike Donald Trump. But yeah. We see kind of what that got him. And I certainly understand why, why he would not want to forfeit the future and life of his son to uphold a set of norms that are about to go up in smoke.
What do you think of this, Mary? The president had said that he would not seek a pardon for his son, and here we are using presidential power. Is this now kind of a blank check to the incoming administration to use whatever power is at its disposal for whatever things it wishes to achieve?
Well, as you know, the pardon power is absolute. It is one of those powers that is exclusively given to the president. And I do think, people will be asking Joe Biden what changed, because he did say pretty clearly he was not planning to pardon his son. I will note we are ending a Thanksgiving Day weekend, and I'm sure the family was all together, and I'm sure that caused him to think long and hard. But I will be interested to hear what he has to say about what changed. Michelle is right that the crimes that Hunter Biden was prosecuted for are things that would not ordinarily result in the types of prosecution we saw. And I don't think that issuing a pardon opens the floodgates to abuses of other types of power, because a pardon is part of that exclusive authority of the president. We know that the incoming president has already talked about various types of pardons. I'm hoping he will not engage in all of those that he has suggested, particularly with respect to the January 6th attackers, those who attacked the U.S. Capitol. But that all, of course, remains to be seen.
Yeah. So here's the thing about this. Here's the thing. Okay. It's not just that Joe Biden broke his promise to the American people. I think it has become extremely clear that Joe Biden had zero intent whatsoever of letting his son go to jail or face any type of serious prison time, right? Like, everything that was happening was essentially a facade to try to make it seem as if, oh, well, again, the DOJ, they're not biased, right? They're not partisan, because if he really was going to just stay out of it, regardless of what happened, then why do it after the election, right? Why do it after the election? Okay, what this seems to indicate is that if Joe Biden or a Democrat had remained president, okay, if he had won the election or Kamala had won the election, then he was planning on making sure that Hunter Biden doesn't do any jail time or prison time, right? That is what this indicates to me, because I'm not entirely sure what would be the difference between him not being president and being president if his intent was to stay out of it no matter what. Clearly, him being president or Kamala Harris being president and nothing really happening to his son, right? That is what he was banking on. And the crazy thing about this pardon is that this is a full and unconditional pardon that basically covers everything from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024, which covers his entire tenure, Hunter Biden's entire tenure of the Ukrainian gas company Burisma, okay, in which Hunter should have faced charges for acting as a foreign agent without registering, okay? Those are the real charges that Hunter Biden should have been facing, okay? He should have been facing some of these same charges that Bob Menendez is facing and what Eric Adams is going through. That's what should have happened to Hunter Biden, while MSNBC is sitting around talking about, well, if any regular normal person had done what Hunter Biden did, then they wouldn't be facing these types of charges, right? It's like, come on. Hunter Biden evaded millions of dollars in taxes, okay? Come on now. What are you talking about? Hunter Biden should have been charged with acting as a foreign agent without registering, okay? He should have been charged with that, but he was not, okay? So to try to pretend as if, Joe Biden is letting his son off because these charges were unjustified in the first place is just silly nonsense, especially considering how the DOJ was trying to get Hunter off. They were trying to get him off, okay, until a conservative judge stopped them from doing so. So here's the thing. We all knew this was going to happen, right? Because Joe Biden, he's in his 80s and he's on his last legs, right? And the last thing that he wants, considering that he already lost a son tragically, is to lose another son to jail or prison in the last years of his life, right? So he wants to be around his son, and I 100% understand why he did it. I get why he did it. It's just that he broke a promise, right? He broke a promise, and he should be criticized for that. He said he wouldn't do it, but he did anyways, okay? Because he had no intentions of allowing Hunter to go to jail or to face any serious prison time in the first place, okay? And the other angle to this that people got to understand is that this also prevents Trump from getting a political W by potentially pardoning Hunter Biden when he becomes president, right? Because that is something that people have talked about, which is maybe Trump does a unity pardon in which he gets Hunter Biden off in order to gain some goodwill with, I guess, moderates and people on the left or whatever, right? In order to unite the country, which, that probably would upset a lot of people on the right who want to see Hunter Biden actually face punishment for his crimes. But essentially, that would be a political W because it would be direct pushback against the allegations from the media that they're making already that, well, Trump's DOJ is going to be politicized and weaponized against his political opponent. So if he comes out and issues a pardon for Hunter Biden, basically that can be used as leverage to basically put out an example of, hey, I let Hunter Biden off. Clearly, I'm not trying to just lock up Democrats just because they're Democrats, right? Or my political opponent or Joe Biden's son and stuff like that, which I do think would piss off conservatives who definitely want to see people like Hunter Biden face accountability for the things they did. But again, it would be one of those things that Trump could potentially use, okay, in order to push back against the narrative from the media. So that's also an angle to this that I think could play a little bit of a role in all of this. So, yeah, I mean, these people are now worried about, well, is this going to open the door for Trump to issue January 6 pardons? Well, yeah, right, yeah. And watch the mainstream liberal media boo-hoo, whine, and cry and melt down about it. But again, they're already making excuses for Joe pardoning Hunter, right? I mean, these are the same people that claim that, well, Hunter Biden doing all these things, well, this is just a father who loves his son, right? This whole Hunter Biden thing, the Hunter Biden laptop thing, it's just a story about a father that loves his son. Those are the excuses that they were making for Joe Biden knowingly being involved in Hunter Biden's business dealings, in which, again, he should have been charged as acting as a foreign agent without registering, okay? So, yeah, nobody's surprised by this. And what they're really upset about is that now it's going to look kind of hypocritical for them to come out and to boohoo, whine, and cry about the pardons that Trump may or may not issue. I mean, he probably is going to. I believe that he is going to pardon at least some J6ers. Yeah, it's going to look really hypocritical for them to come out here and to boohoo, whine, and cry about that and to claim abuse of power when they have nothing to say about Joe Biden pardoning his son, right? He got his son off. Now, imagine if Trump had pardoned his son or his sons as they were facing gun charges and tax evasion charges, right? Do you think that the mainstream liberal media will be saying, oh, well, the DOJ, they were unfairly going after them in the first place, so this doesn't really matter? No. These people will be kicking and screaming and crying about an abuse of power, right? That's what they would be doing. They be calling everything under the sun. They be saying that it's white privilege, okay? Only white people are allowed to get away with this. Rich white men are allowed to get away with this, right? That's what they be saying. But when it comes to this, though, Oh, well, it's okay, right? Joe Biden just loves his son, right? That's why he did it, okay? It's just hilarious. So, yeah, it definitely opens up the door for Trump to pardon J6ers. And, again, the media is going to look very, very, very weird for them to start boohoo whining and crying about abuses of power when it comes to that. But, again, when it comes to this, a president pardoning his own son, oh, well, again, this is just a family love story, right? Again, it's just... They're now putting themselves in an awkward position, a very awkward position. It is very, very, very interesting to see how they're reacting to this. But again, nobody really should be surprised. We all knew that this was coming. I just think that it shows you what the intent of Joe Biden was in the first place, that, you know, he was not trying to let his son go to jail under any circumstances. It wasn't happening. And he just put up a facade and just lied to the American people about it the whole time, which, again, is par for the course when it comes to the Democrats and the Biden administration. I mean, that is what defines the Biden administration right now in history, is just gaslighting and lies. And this is just one of the many lies that this administration has told to the American people. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.